You're going to watch a little video from someone who's going to give you some really practical advice to using YouTube. And also there's a little quiz and not a quiz, there's going to be a little discussion session as well for you to talk about with your pod leaders in school. Now, as you go into secondary school, you're going to be accessing a lot of social media to keep in contact with your friends. There are lots of social networking sites and apps that you use to chat, comment, share pictures on. And we've spoken a lot this week about positive and negative attention, about lots of different ways to be using things online. Snapchat, Facebook, I don't know if Snapchat's used a lot anymore, but we all know that we have to be at least 13 years or over to access these sites, okay? Why? Why do you have to be that certain age? So why would people set that age? There's lots of reasons why. Even for people over the age of 13, there's, there are always risks to be using some of these apps and sites. It's important that you don't use them until you know how to use them safely, which is why we're doing all these videos today. Remember also, there's no rush to start social networking. 5 things to think about. I'm going to give you my top 5 things to think about, and then we're going to move on to the next part of the lesson. So, sharing personal information. We know about sharing personal information and what we should and should not share online. 2, digital footprints, which is really one of the massive focuses of the lesson today, is talking about your digital footprint. Now, a footprint, obviously we know a footprint, for example, if you go onto the beach and you're walking along on the beach and you put your feet, you take your shoes off because it feels really nice. I love the feel of sand on my feet, it's awesome. And you put your feet in the sand and you leave footprints. Now, that is the same as on social media. Anytime you log onto the internet and you've logged in with a certain username or password, you are creating a digital footprint, which stays in the sand. The internet's the sand and your footprint, and it's individual to you. Like your fingerprints, it's exactly the same. That footprint is yours and it can be traced. And also something about the digital footprint is there is no sea on the internet. The sea cannot always wash away your footprints like it does on the beach. So there's something that you've got to be really aware of. In the next video that you're going to look at, so we're on our 2 top things, we've got 3 more to go. But in that sense, in YouTube, this YouTube video that you're going to look at, the man who's speaking is going to talk about how you can use your digital footprint and use preferences to make a site, YouTube, work really effectively for you. Hello, Miss Carter from the future here. I just wanted to make a really quick note to say that you should not use YouTube until you are the age of 13. That is the guidelines for YouTube. Now, of course, I know a lot of children that do use YouTube. And at home, of course, your parents at home may actually say that you can go on YouTube, and that is their choice at home. But I do have to say that the official age is 13 and over. So for those of you who have parents at home who are happy to go on, obviously that's fine, that's your parents' decision, but these are some tips for you to help you have a think about when you're older, if you're not using YouTube at the moment, or when you're using YouTube at home and your parents say it's okay, tips that can really help benefit you in using this really effectively. So I just wanted to make that really clear. Of course, YouTube is for 13s and over, but of course we are aware that some of you, lots of you in fact, do go on there quite often. Back to Miss Carter. And that's what you're going to be learning today. Okay, number 3. Something you need to know, it's really easy to lie online. Some people use fake profiles. I was talking today to a few boys and girls who were saying that, people add them and they don't know who they are and they delete them straight away. It's really easy to lie and to be and to pretend to be someone else online, which is why it's very difficult to tell the difference between someone who's genuine and someone who is someone who's lying, which is why it is so important that you only add people, for example, on Instagram, who you know. So people that you know from school, for example. And even then, you might not want to add someone from school. Anti-social networking. Just as social networks can be used to share lots of great information, they can also be used to share nasty things. So maybe some nasty pictures, horrible comments, fake profiles as well. So it may be called social networking, but there is also, unfortunately, a lot of anti-social networking at all. So that's number 4. Number 5, I did not want to see that. Anyone can post videos, pictures or ideas on social networks. This means you might see things that you don't want to see. And that will take us really nicely onto our next video for today, which is all about how you can change your settings on YouTube to make sure that you're seeing content that you want to see. And then there'll be an activity at the end. So that's our little introduction today. Watch the next video. In fact, pod leaders, this might be a good time just to stop, have a little discussion about about what you thought about what's been said so far, maybe the steps that you've used, boys and girls have used online, or what you already know about YouTube, how to make it function really well for you. If there's things that you don't want to see or things that pop up, how do you stop them from happening, and what do you do if something pops up that you don't want to see? Lots to think about there. Have a pause of the video and then move on to the next slide.